Hi, everyone. Tonya Fowler here. I want to continue the series that I've been doing on the power of communication, but today I have a special guest. Hi, Art.
Hi, Tonya. How are you?
Doing great. So, Art Robbins and I used to work together. In fact, I say work together, but actually, he was my regional president. But he has so much experience to be able to share with us, particularly as it relates to dealing with clients and communicating with them. So, tell me what you've been up to lately, Art.
Thanks, Tanya. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, right now I'm running my own consulting firm, MC, and that's after some great stints at EY and Frost and Sullivan. Where, like you said, I've done a lot of projects and worked with a lot of clients, and run into a couple of problems now and then.
Oh, really? Uh-oh. Well, how did you handle the situations then whenever you were working with clients and running into some problems?
Sure. Well, first of all, problems are inevitable in any project. And, good management is prepared to deal with those problems. I mean, all projects should have some form of a risk assessment process where they're actually trying to proactively identify the problems before they even arise. And
Yeah.
then when the problem does arise, it's not a surprise to the client that that problem was potentially out there. You can kick in and follow your contingency plan and mitigation strategy and address the problem head on. So that's the ideal situation in a project when a problem does arise.
Yeah, well, definitely. I know project management planning is so critical, but what happens though when you run into a situation that was not planned? I mean, there are obviously things we can't control or anticipate. So what do you do? How do you communicate to the client in those instances?
Sure. Well, unfortunately, those surprises are inevitable. I mean, if you're in the business long enough, you will run into unanticipated problems. And that's really where it's critical that you earn the client's trust and confidence by the way you respond. You have to be open and truthful and transparent to the client. You have to tell them, what you know and what you don't know. It's part of any problem resolution. You want to know the root cause. You want to know who's responsible. You want to know what the solution is. And you may not know all of that up front.
Mhm.
So you have to tell the client, this is what we know, and this is what we're going to do to solve the problem or to further diagnose the problem so we could ultimately solve it. And that might require you to have a short-term solution to kind of stop the bleeding. And then, in parallel, you're going through the analysis to figure out ultimately what the long-term solution is to get the project back on track.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's wonderful, that you're really talking about like the being honest and being direct and forthright, because addressing those issues directly is definitely better than avoiding it. And you certainly don't want to hide things from a client because, I mean, things come out anyway. I mean, so you might as well just address it head on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing that with responsibility that can make it challenging is you might find out that the root cause of the problem was not your responsibility. It was due to something on the client's side. And there, in the spirit of partnership, you don't want to be blaming the client. You want to, collaborate with the client and say, hey, we're one team. We're working on this together. Let's work together to, address this problem and fix it and make sure it never happens again.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I know that I found in my own experience that creating a communication plan up front can be really helpful. It's keeping everybody involved and knowing what's going on. But, if maybe, you're in a situation where, again, it was unanticipated, then you might have to revisit even your communication plan to incorporate the solution that you have now going forward. And so I think that it is important to either, create that communication plan if it wasn't, or revisit it and see how, because you want to make sure everybody knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, no, the communication plan is a great tip, and it really gets people focused on what the ultimate goal is, which is to get the project back on track, back on schedule, back in budget. And I think your ability to take charge of the situation, to take responsibility for what's going on, to take responsibility for the solution. Those are all key factors in ultimately earning the client's trust and confidence and achieving the ultimate goals of the project.
Yeah. And I think too, obviously I've been doing a series on the power of communication. And one element that is talked to me about a lot is the act of listening. So communication is a two-way street. And so I know that you've probably done a really great job of listening to your clients in the past, especially when it comes to issues, right?
No, that's right, and it gets back to some of the quality assurance we were talking about is to have active conversations about potential issues and risks and risk mitigation strategies. And the client often has insights that you don't have. They're much closer to the situation. So, that's part of getting, a complete picture of what needs to be done to have the best outcome.
Right. Great. All right. Well, I can't help but also say though that an important part of this teamwork with a client is to make sure that they know though that you appreciate their patience and understanding throughout whatever issue it is that you're dealing with. And so we all want to make sure that we're maintaining strong relationships. And so showing that appreciation is just one of those other steps, right?
No, it definitely is. And yeah, I think it's important to put yourself in the client's shoes because, you might have done, as a professional, you might have done a project like this dozens or hundreds of times, but it might be the first time the client ever did a project like this.
Mhm.
So it could be, a scary or new experience for them. And if you show them how much you value their participation and their input, that's going to go a long way in making them feel good about the outcome and feel good about working with you.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, you want to wrap it up for us, Art, here because you've shared so many wonderful nuggets.
Yeah, well, I think this slide shows some great bullets and takeaways that everyone should follow. When they're thinking about how to best communicate a project issue. Make sure you address the issue directly, communicate what's known and unknown. Make sure that you ultimately do a good root cause analysis. Uncover who's responsible and use that to develop the best long-term solution. Make sure you implement a great communication plan with the client. And, at the end of the day, remember that you're all part of one team and you should show the client that you truly appreciate working with them. And you do that, you'll have a great outcome and a great client relationship.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Art, for spending some time going through this topic. And I'm so happy to hear about all the wonderful things that are going on with you. And so just might have to do this again, right?
Okay, well let's do it, Tom. You're doing a great job with this series, and yeah, let's keep communicating.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you, Art. Take care.
You're welcome. You'll take care. Bye bye.
Bye.